Hello guys, good afternoon. You are welcome to my YouTube channel, the Explicit Tutorials. As you all know, my name is Tutor Joseph or Mr. Explicit as the case may be. In today's video, I will reintroduce the last part of the previous video because the previous video got hung up somewhere. I don't know what happened. So for a better understanding, I will introduce again the last part of the previous video. If you know you haven't watched it, I will advise you do so to have a better understanding of this topic. Don't forget, we are still discussing circular motion and gravitation in physics. So the last part of the previous video was based on orbital period and is denoted as what? Capital letter T. I told us that the orbital period is the ratio of what? Circumferences. It is the ratio of circumference to velocity. It is the ratio of what? Circumference orbit to what? Velocity. Now this velocity I have here connotes what? Velocity of satellite or satellite velocity. Now T is circumference is 2 pi r, right? 2 pi r, just like the normal circumference of a circle. Then over, I gave you guys velocity of satellites as, okay, before I do that, we also said that when an object leaves the surface of the earth, the radius become RE plus what? H. This RE connotes what? The radius of the earth, and H is what? Altitude. When an object leaves the surface of the earth, small letter radius change into what? RE plus H. Which means whenever I see R, I'll put what? RE plus H, right? Then it becomes 2 pi open brackets RE plus what? H. And here is velocity. Alright? And this velocity I said connotes what? Satellite velocity, and is giving us Jesus. No sir, no sir. I'm sorry about that. So velocity of satellite is given as big square roots g m e over r e plus h. Alright, so this is a formula of what? Satellite velocity. So there is a problem here. In order for me to eliminate this square roots, this square root is now acting at what? As obstacle. What do? I'll square both sides. So I'll put 2 here, and here I'll put 2. Doing that, I'll now be having that c squared is equals, these two cancel out this square root, isn't it? So these two also affect everything here. So 2 times 2, I have 4. Then 2 times pi, I have pi squared, open brackets. And of course, these two also affect everything. So it becomes RE plus H all squared. Then over, is that correct? Over GME over what? RE plus what? H. That is what we have. We are not done simplifying. In order to continue, we have to do something about it, which means that from here, I'll do it as 4 pi squared, open brackets, RE plus H all squared divided by, you know this sign represents what? Division. Divided by GME over what? RE plus H. RE plus H. So I can now rub off this one. Do you stop there? No, you don't. So don't forget this period, period squared, don't forget. Therefore, it becomes t squared equals 4 pi squared r plus h, that is re plus h, right? Re plus h, don't forget there's a square there, times this one goes up and this other one comes down. So it becomes RE plus H over what? G and E, right? So from, of course, this over what? Over 1. So from here, I'll have that c squared equals this times this, I'll be having 4 pi squared, open brackets, RE plus H cube. Yes, it's H cube because we have one arrow here. This two will affect everything inside the brackets. It's assuming you are kind of saying RE squared times another RE. You have what? RE cube. Alright? Here the same thing is what applied. So it is what? RE plus H cube. Then over this times this is same as what? G and E. Are we done simplifying? No. There's square roots here. There's 2 raised power 2. These two cross over, it becomes t equals, okay, as long as it crosses over, or you have to like this. For these two that will cross over will affect everything, all right? Will affect this, not this, please. Not everything per se. This two here, I'm not saying it will affect everything. It's affecting this guy here. So what will you not be having? You'll be having that 2 pi, 2 pi, the square root of RE plus H over G and E. Now, when I said that the square root will not affect everything inside the bracket, I'm not saying that you should not look for the square root of this or the square root of this. Definitely, we know that as soon as you square root both sides, automatically everything is what affected. But the way I just did it now is different from what I'm trying to say. The square root of 4 is 2. This square root will cancel out this. We'll not be having what? This. So, what I have here is what? The period. You call it what? Orbit period. Orbit period. Orbit period. I also take note that orbit velocity is given as what? Square root of REG. This is what? Orbit velocity. Orbit velocity. Take note of that. That reminds me, there is another part. Good. There is another part that I have to introduce. So please take note. This is orbit what? Period. And this is velocity. This is orbit velocity. Don't take one for the other. It can lead to death. You understand? It can lead to death. Eh? So the next one is called synchronous or parking motion. Synchronous. Synchronous or parking. In a synchronous or parking motion, all right, a communication satellite, a communication satellite, a communication satellite is positioned in its orbit, stationary. How do I put it now? Okay, synchronous parking, it is a process whereby communication satellite, all right, is positioned circularly such that it will appear stationary, all right, which means when this satellite is positioned on its what's it called now, on its orbit, it rotates circularly, all right, about a fixed point. That is why it's called what? Stationary. Now, for it to rotate about a fixed point, for it to rotate circularly, it means that the period of the Earth, how do I put it now? The period of the satellite orbits the period of the satellite orbit must be the same as the period of the Earth rotation. Alright, means that the period of the satellite orbit must equal the period of the Earth rotation. The process whereby a communication satellite is positioned circularly about its axis at a very fixed point, called stationary, is called what? Synchronous or what? Parking motion. For it to happen, it means that the period of the satellites must be equals the period of what? Earth rotation. Period of satellite I said is what? T, right? So it's given as what? Square root arrow cube over what? Arrow e plus h. Alright? And of course, you know that this, what do you think this arrow cube is? If you understood what I did just now, I told you that arrow stands for what? Arrow e plus h. Automatically, if I should slot in this guy into this place, I'll have my initial expression. Please take note, in a synchronous parking, the period of satellite orbit must equals the period of the Earth what? Rotation. So please take note of that. That is the last part of it. So let's jump into calculation. So find the FC. FC there represent was centripetal force required by 2000 Newton racing car. That is racing car that makes a turn of radius 19 meters. So let's bring out our parameters. They said force is given as what? 2000 Newton. Radius is given as what? 90 meters. At a speed of what? 10 kilometer per hour, which means velocity is what? 10 kilometer per hour. But we cannot solve with that. We have to convert from kilometer per hour to meter per second. In doing that, kilo is 1000, right? So it becomes 10 times 1000 divided by what? 2600. So this will go into this will go into this. 100 divided by 36 would be actually like 2.7. Let me try it. 100 divided by 36 equals 2.77. So 2.7 meter per second. So I've been able to convert from kilometer per hour to what? Meter per second. So we were asked to calculate for the centripetal force as well as the coefficient of friction. Centripetal force is given as what? mv squared over r. However, the mass was not given. They gave us what? Force to be 2000 Newton. I will have to convert from Newton to kilogram. In doing that, I'll divide by 10. So it means that I'll be having mass to be 2000 divided by 10, and that will give me what? 200 kilograms. So this is the mass. Therefore, all these village people have started, though they have started. Therefore, mass is 200. Velocity given is velocity. Okay, I had 2.7. So 2.7 times 2.7, that should give me 7.29. I don't know. 2.7 times 2.7, 7.29. 7.29 divided by, hope you know why we got 7.29. Velocity is 2.7, so it's raised to a power of what? 2. Radius is what? 90. So this will go into this. It therefore means that centripetal force is equals 20 times 2 point. Is it 2 point? 20 times 7.29 equals 145.8 divided by 9 equals 145.8 divided by 9 equals 6.2 Newton. So this is our final answer. They said also calculate the minimum coefficient of friction that must be present if the car is to make the turn without skidding. I told us in our previous class that skidding occurs when tan theta is greater than v squared over rg. Take note of that. So, coefficient of friction is given as what? Frictional force over what? Normal reaction. It is not radius, please. Frictional force is what we just got, 16.2 over normal reaction is one given in question 2000. So it means that 16.2 divided by 2000, I'll have 8.1 times 10 raised to power minus 3. So this is my final answer. Please, what is the SI unit of coefficient of friction? It is what? Meter per second square per meter square per second per meter. Please, oh, it is dimensionless. it does not have a unit, so it is dimensionless. So just, this is how it is written. It does not have a unit and it is what? Dimensionless. Take note of that. So the next one is number 2. Number 2 says an object of mass 10 kg is whirled round a horizontal circle, round please, horizontal circle of radius 4 meter, which means the mass is 10 kg, radius is what? 4 meters, by a revolving string inclined to the vertical. If the uniform speed of the object is 5, so which means that v is what? 5, velocity is 5 meter per second. So they said we should look for the angle of inclination of the string. In our previous class, I told you to look, in order for you to look for the angle of inclination, it is tan theta is equals v squared over what? Rg. V squared, v represents velocity as of course. So 5 times 5 you have what? 25 divided by radius is what? 4. Gravity is 10. So it means that 25 divided by 40, I'll have 0.6 to here. I have 0.625. Because all this, Jesus. Oh, my town people. This one is not for this one, my town people. So tan theta, in order for me to get the angle, I will have to take the inverse of tan theta. That becomes theta is equals tan inverse 0.625. Yeah, guys, it is very obvious that they came in group. And they came in group. It's obvious. So the tan inverse of 0.625 is what? 32 degree. So this is the angle of what? Inclination. I believe it's clear enough. The next one is the tension on the string. To look for the tension on the string, tension is given as what? mg cos theta. Mass is what? 10. G is 10. The cos theta, which is cos 32. Cos 32 should be cos 32 should be 0. Okay, 0.8480. So what do we do next? We say 100 divided by 0.8480 equals, oh God Almighty, tension is equals 117.92 God of Nazareth. Hey, village people at work. So please, this is our final answer. So this is the tension on the string. I believe it's going well. Very, very easy. So number 3 is the centripetal force and the centripetal acceleration. Hey, Jesus. So I'll rub off this one. Because I'm using the same parameters. Don't forget what we've gotten already. So The centripetal force, of course, is Fc equals mv squared over what? R. Mass is 10. V squared is what? 25. That is 5 times 5. You have 25. Radius is what? 4. Isn't that correct? Very, very correct. So it means that 250 divided by 4 equals 62.5 Newton. Very easy. This is what? The centripetal force. Now to look for the centripetal acceleration, what would you do? Centripetal acceleration is what? V squared over what? Radius. V squared is 25. Radius is what? 4. So 25 divided by 4 equals 6.25 meter per second what? Squared. Meter per second what? Squared. Take note of that. Now the next one is okay. I think okay. The next one is what? The periodic time. The periodic time. I told you that the periodic time is given us, which is d now. Periodic time is given as t is equals 2 pi r over what? V. This is 2 times 0.142 because pi is 22 divided by 7, right? Then times radius, which is what? 4. Velocity, which is what? 5. So what do you do next? You say 3.142 times 2 times 4 equals, this is equals 25.136 divided by 5. So 25.136 divided by 5 equals, so the periodic time now becomes 50.0272 seconds. So this is our final answer. So please, more complex, okay, let's take another one. More complex questions are yet to be solved. So flip to your textbook. Flip to exercise 6.1, which is the first exercise here. I'll solve this and we'll call it a day. The next time we'll solve other challenging questions. Hope it's recording, please. Yeah, it is. Now, you just check your textbook, exercise 6.1, page 100. So calculate the force necessary to keep a particle of mass 0.2 kg moving in a horizontal circle of radius 0.5 meters with a period of 0.5 seconds. What is the direction of the force? Okay, we are looking for force now. So we do not know what force is, and that tells us it is centripetal force, circular radius, right? Circular radius, that tells you it is what? Centripetal force. Looking at what we have here, we were not given the velocity. In order to look for the velocity, we have to use the tangential velocity, which is V is equals 2 pi r over what? T. 2 pi r over what? T. So what do we do next? This is 2 times 3.142. Radius is what? 0.5 over period is what? 0.5. I mean, 9. 0.5, 0.5. Hope I'm correct. So this will go into this. It means that tangential velocity now is 2 times 3.142 times 2 equals 6.284 meter per seconds. Okay. Let me do it again, please. 2 times 3.142 It is very, very correct. So what do we do? Go back to the question. We are to look for the centripetal force. So Fc becomes mass given is what? 0.2 times 6.284 squared over radius is what? Jesus Christ of Nazareth. 6.284 times 6.284 equals, this will give me 0.2 times 39.48. So let me make it 39.49 divided by 0.5. Okay, let me just 48, let me make it to 2 decimal places. 489. 3 decimal places is better that way. So let's multiply and divide. 0.2 times 39.489 equals 7.898978 divided by 0.5. So divided by 0.5. This will give me 15.6. What did they get? They got 15. Okay, 15.8. I got 15.79. So approximately 15.8 meter per second within, okay, force now, sorry, force, Newton. 15.8 Newton. So it is very, very correct. Very, very what? Correct. So then question 2, 6.2. They said a body of mass, whatever, you have the question in your textbook. I'll solve I, you solve I. Calculate tension on the string. To calculate tension on the string is what? mg cos rating theta. So tension is equals, the mass given is what? 0.2 times 10 over cos what? 30. Cos 30 should be 0.8660. So cos 30, yeah, 0. Yeah, it's correct. So 0.2 times 10 is 2. So 2 divided by 0.8660 equals 2 point. Tension is 2.31 Newton. Where did they get this? 2 points. Okay. 31. They got 2.26. 2.26. That is close, isn't it? It's close, right? So mass is 0.2, right? Open. Mass is 0.2. 0.2 times 10. That will not be 2. Now 2 now, Abi. Then cos 30. 0.8660. Okay, let me do it as 2 divided by 0.86, 2.33. All right, and I got where is it again? We got 2.326. So it is very, very correct. So at this point, we'll call it a day. Thanks for watching. Do have a wonderful day. Please subscribe so that when I upload new content, you'll be notified by YouTube. More interesting videos, that is calculations. These ones are very, very simple. The next video we'll be focusing on difficult calculations. So please endeavor to subscribe. Do have a wonderful day.